Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends of our Crossroads North family. It gives me great pleasure to invite you and welcome you all to this evening concert performed by our concert symphony, as well as our, our concert orchestra and our symphonic orchestra. These young people, as you know, have been working tirelessly throughout the school year, spending countless hours practicing their craft and becoming some of the best young musicians that I have ever heard in my entire life. And they are led by our wonderful conductors, Ms. Marchioni and Ms. Peppentrager. And so give them all a nice round of applause. On behalf of Ms. Bino, our principal, Mr. Riccardi, our assistant principal, Mr. Sears, the director of music for the district, we once again thank you for your support of the music program here. Just a couple of notes as we begin. Make sure that your phones are silenced. Make sure that, that you are in no way becoming a distraction to the performers this evening. If you need video, things like that, we have people that are recording it professionally this evening. And also, just as a friendly reminder, just an etiquette, while the kids are performing, we ask that you stay in your seats and not get up and move around, because that does create a little bit of noise and a little bit of a distraction. Give them your full attention. You know, don't worry about the cats, the dogs, the gerbils, anyone at home. Let's focus on them and let their music sort of take us to a different place this evening. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful students and musicians of Crossroads North.
So the kids often ask me how I pick the music, and maybe you're wondering too. So a lot goes into what we pick to choose and to work on. First of all, I have to like it because I have to work on it every day. So I obviously find things I like. But I also find things that I think are going to teach them new skills. And this first piece, not only do I love the composer, Kurt Moser, who I think is fabulous, but also there's a lot of technique in this that they've never done. One specific technique is called spiccato, which is a string-specific technique, where they have to bounce the bow on the string. Sounds simple enough, but it can be very difficult to hold a tempo when you use this new technique. So you'll notice in the beginning of the piece, all the sections have this spiccato bow. So that was my first objective when I chose this piece. Enjoy. It's called Stony Bridge Escape. Thanks. This is the first movement of Vivaldi's Spring. Not only is it spring, that's obviously why I chose it, but it also involves a lot of new technique for them. This was originally written for a small chamber ensemble, which is a small group of musicians with a solo violinist. We are anything but a small group of musicians, but you'll notice 2 times in the piece it pairs down to the front 2 rows, and we do have a small chamber ensemble who plays twice during this performance. So enjoy Spring, Vivaldi. Okay, and our last piece I picked just because I thought it was cool. That's a good reason. It's the theme from the Incredibles movie, but it was really challenging rhythmically. It's very different from the other 2 pieces, and I think very different from anything probably a lot of these kids have ever played. So, theme song from the Incredibles. Enjoy! Quick transition, we'll be right back with you.
Hi, everyone. Oh, come on, you could do better than that. Hi! Wow, all right. My name is Linda Heffentrager, and we are the Symphonic Orchestra. Our first piece is called Mad Hatter Musings, and it's also written by Kurt Moser. Miss Markey and I are big fans. He's an amazing composer, and we actually got the opportunity to go to New York City and work with him in February. He was working with a group in Carnegie Hall. We actually had a piece commissioned by him a couple years ago. He's phenomenal. So this piece is the inner workings of the Mad Hatter, so it's got some kind of crazy in it, so hopefully we can bring the crazy to you. It has some cool techniques with like some snap pizzicato and some sliding, so enjoy. Our next piece is totally different. We're going on the classical, sophisticated, very Beethoven side of things. This is an arrangement of the first symphony of Beethoven, Symphony No. 1. Who's an Elvis fan? Okay, let me do better. We're gonna play for you and then I'm gonna ask you the same question afterwards, okay? This is Can't Help Falling in Love. Okay, now who's an Elvis fan? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, our final song of the evening, we got inspired by The Incredibles, so we wanted to be like superheroes too. So we are playing the theme song from Avengers.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, put your hands together for the concert orchestra. The Symphonic Orchestra and the Concert Orchestra. At some point, I'm going to get that right. But you know what? I think that I speak for everyone here. That was amazing. Amazing. From start to end, that was amazing. I thank you all for your patience, for your hard work. Kids, you should be proud of yourselves. Despite everything that you had going on, you worked hard at this craft of yours. And it's a skill that will benefit you for the rest of your lives. I would also like to once again thank our conductors, Ms. Marchione. And Ms. Heffentrager. I'm going to hand it over to them to give you final instructions as to what's happening this evening. To all of our family, friends, everyone who came out this evening, thank you once again for making this night special. Thank you for your support, and we hope to see you again, to do it again. Thank you.
Again, just a huge thank you on our behalf. We know how much you sacrifice. We know how hard the mornings are. We're both moms. We get it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Your kids are phenomenal, and it's an honor to work with them. I'm gonna cry, so I'm gonna stop talking. So, with that being said, clean up. They're still not done. They still have to, clean up their stuff, as I'm sure they're super excited about. So we're gonna rack the stands. 3 stand carts. Oh guys, we're not moving on me already, are we? Oh no, this is not happening. Okay. 2 of the stand carts goes back to the orchestra room. 2 of the stand carts go back to the band room. 1 stays in the cafeteria. So anybody that is willing to volunteer for a stand cart duty, we love you and we appreciate you. Thank you. Chairs are all going to be stacked. You don't have to bring them back into the cafeterias tonight. You're just going to stack them against the wall. In stacks of 10, not 11, not 9. We're going to count afterwards to see how well you do. Just kidding, no we're not. Just stack against the wall. And if you don't mind, please just hang tight for a minute until this happens, and then you can, they'll come back to you, take the pictures, do all the things, but just give them a minute to pack up and get situated. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great night.